Ahoy, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome into the Junk Drawer, part of the Cork Bats Podcast Network. One day I'll get that right. The big game is set. I'm depressed. Football season's almost over. I don't know about you guys, but that's Hub over to my right or left, depending on where you look at it. And that is Jack down below me. Thanks for tuning in, guys. As you know, this is a podcast, so we need those likes. We need those subscribes. We need those comments. Bring them this time. Let's hear them. Let's actually get them. And just thanks for tuning in, guys. Really appreciate it. And it was a big weekend. It was championship weekend. Arguably, it's so hard to follow up after last weekend with all those crazy games. But championship weekend, I think, lived up to the hype. Some pretty decent games. We saw one overtime game. Just overall a good weekend, and let's get into it. So guys, our staple segment, our every week segment is good, back, and ugly. Everything good that happened last week, everything back that happened last week, and everything ugly. So let's get into it. Our first good of the week, and I think I speak for everyone this week. The good of the week, we no longer have to deal with Jackson Mahomes and Brittany Mahomes. They are out of our lives. We don't need to worry about them. They're out of the spotlight that they don't deserve. So I'm relieved this week, guys. It's 2 weeks without them, and it feels good.
It really does. I'm a fan of Patrick Mahomes. But it's terrible to see him win sometimes just because you have to watch that train wreck.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. When Patrick first, took the league by storm, you sort of started to hear rumblings about Brittany and then not so much Jackson Mahomes. And then it kind of, the bigger and better he got, it's almost as if the worse that they got. Like, it's just like, and maybe that's just a product of his fame level rising, the more commercials he was in, more followers he got. I think you're just put under a bigger microscope, and it just clearly got to his entire family's head. But
are you guys worried that now that the season's over, they're going to have more time to be annoying? Because after last week's show, I did download TikTok to see if I enjoyed Jackson Mahomes without the football aspect, and he does have a couple of good dance moves and stuff.
Oh,
interesting.
It's not bad. I'm just worried that maybe that now the football season's over, they can really focus their energy on pissing off the rest of the world. Like, yeah, Patrick Mahomes is not going to do anything, but Brittany and Jackson, they might just step in the spotlight. Maybe they buy tickets to the Super Bowl anyway. Maybe they're in a suite pouring champagne the whole game, win or lose. They're like, oh, we can't win or lose.
That would be the ultimate troll move, though.
Oh my god, yeah. I would have to kind of respect that move if that happened.
If that happens, yeah, I might become a fan after that.
I think we might end up seeing Jackson Mahomes on Dancing with the Stars or something, and it's going to really,
oh my gosh,
it's going to spiral out of control. Brittany might get her own show.
She's part owner of the Kansas City soccer team, their major league soccer team.
The KC Sporting?
Yeah, the KC Sporting Club. She is a part owner.
Her and Patrick are? Or
I think it's just her. I think it was like her birthday gift, or like he was with another girl and he was, sorry, honey. Like, here you go. Here's 10%.
That's quite the gift. So they've got the soccer team. She owns the soccer team. He's part owner in the Royals.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that we're missing? Is there?
Well,
what's next? What's next for Patrick?
Is it? I don't know.
Divorce.
Divorce. Yeah. I think I feel bad because Kenny from the Cinna Boys, our sister podcast, he went to the game. He flew to Kansas City. He had pretty good seats. I mean, he was right next to the guy banging the drum. It was pretty cool, actually. I've never actually like seen that angle from Arrowhead, so it was like interesting to see the fans' perspective. But I feel bad that he went all the way there to see and to be up 21-10 at halftime. Like just it was looking like a blowout. Really, it was. And
until that last play of the first half. That was it.
But no, feeling bad is overrated. Like
yeah,
we feel bad.
right.
We felt bad the
for
last
Kenny.
2. Yeah, we felt bad the last 2 years with the pandemic. Like, why don't we feel good for Cincinnati?
That's true. Let's feel
That's
good
fair.
for the Skyline Chili of the world.
Yeah, right. I saw a segment on ESPN this morning getting ready for work. What would be bigger for the state of Ohio? LeBron winning for the Cavs or the Bengals winning?
Yeah.
But we're all from Pennsylvania, right? But 80, you live in Pittsburgh, one side of the state.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Hub and I, we live in Philadelphia. Could you imagine how sad your state would have to be to just combine cities like that? Like, imagine like ESPN running a segment like, what's more important for Pennsylvania, the Penguins winning the Stanley Cup or the Eagles winning the Super Bowl? Like,
it's true. It's true. I mean, and the most embarrassing part about that is that the Browns just aren't even mentioned in that. Like obviously, like they're a team,
a division
from
rival.
Ohio
team.
and they're not even like mentioned in that same breath. It's just
so that's what I'm saying. Let's feel good for the Ohioans. They don't have a lot, you know. This is something for them.
Is that Cincinnati? That's their only professional sports team. No,
Ohio? No, they have the Columbus Blue Jackets.
No. In Cincinnati.
They have the Reds. The Reds.
Oh yeah,
Reds.
what am I talking about? Yeah.
I mean, they're not very
also
good,
a very sad team though.
Easily forgettable.
The best thing that's happened to the Reds in the past 20 years was Ken Griffey signing with them, and he was like well past his prime. So like, I when's the last time they won the World Series? Like
the Big Red Machine. Pete Rose, Joe Moore. At least
very
long time ago. Yeah.
No, but you look at all these Ohio teams; they don't even have history. Like the Bengals' history was losing the Super Bowl twice in the '80s and '90s. Before LeBron, the Cavaliers' history was like losing in the first or second round. The Browns' history is just being the worst team ever, and
that's why they're so into the Ohio State Buckeyes, though.
Yeah, because that's all they have. Yeah, but 1990 was the last Reds World Series, so 30 plus years. Like think about that. Before LeBron brought the title to Ohio, it had been like 25 years for the entire state to experience a championship.
It's pretty rough.
That's pretty brutal. But
it's just so funky. Not funky. It's so funny that I don't want to piss off Ohioans, but how junky of a state do you have to be to get your two major cities combined? Like that would never happen to Pennsylvania. They would never be. ESPN would never be talking about, oh, are Philadelphians happy because the Steelers are in the Super Bowl? Because
the Steelers, yeah, exactly, yeah, and vice versa. Is it like, was anyone
actually real quick back in World War II? The Philadelphia Eagles and the Pittsburgh, the Steagles, exactly. So there was 1 year when that would have been a reality.
Better than that, back then?
Which would have been pretty cool though. Like think about combining like the best players from the Eagles, the best players from the Steelers, like today. Like
that'd be sick.
I would hope that we'd win the Super Bowl. I would hope, but
they probably would have lost to the Bills in the divisional round. Probably these two teams.
Well, would they've been in the AFC or the NFC?
Yeah, exactly. You're just assuming they'd be in the AFC.
A hybrid.
Yeah. They'd have to play twice each week.
They just get an automatic bye to the Super Bowl, the Mega Super Bowl. The winner of the Super Bowl plays the Steagles in the Mega Super Bowl. So
yeah,
it's only fair.
Is that where Patrick and SpongeBob and them played that one time?
That was the Bubble Bowl.
The Bubble Bowl.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of the Steelers, though, lost one of our own this week. Big Ben set to retire. He's it's official. I think it was probably 3 years overdue. Actually, maybe he should have just retired when he got injured. When he injured his elbow, that's it. My career's over. Like, because did he really make a comeback from his injury? I don't think so.
No.
Like fully. Like, do you think 5-yard slants are coming back? Like enough for comeback player of the year? I don't think so.
Only
like,
if you're Drew Brees and Michael Thomas. And that
I stand by my
that was
I
it.
stand by my take that the worst thing that could have happened to Big Ben's legacy was the Chargers and Raiders not tying. Because his farewell tour could have been an overtime win against the Ravens. Like, that's your number one rival, right, AD? I don't want
yeah.
to put
Oh
words
yeah.
in.
Yeah. Of course.
The-
They're the
and
dirt,
we had-
the dirty birds,
Yeah.
rat
They,
birds.
they rolled him out on his wheelchair for one more game to go get massacred by the Chiefs when he could have gone out a winner, a hero. Like, sad.
Yeah, I
Poor
think
guy.
I would have been more okay with them getting destroyed by the Chiefs if the Chiefs won the Super Bowl. But like now it's like, oh, they lost to we lost twice to the Bengals this year. So like, I don't know. Did he deserve more than that? I don't think so. It probably was about right. He went out on a victory. We can be happy about that, but I think it's hard to compare. I think someone put this into perspective to me. So the last Super Bowl that Aaron Rodgers won was 2011. The last Super Bowl Big Ben won was 2009. So like, I mean, I don't know. I'm not trying to compare Big Ben to Aaron Rodgers. It's just like it's been like the same level of production, basically. Like,
Oh yeah, there's no doubt that Aaron Rodgers. There's something about the playoffs that don't really agree with him. Like,
he's allergic to them, or he.
Yeah, I don't want to, because he's definitely not an overrated quarterback. Like talent wise and statistically wise, like he's obviously one of the best ever. But I don't know. There's Eli Manning has 2 Super Bowls. Aaron Rodgers has 1.
Yeah. It's just in a league that's full of like, what have you done for me lately?
Right, exactly. It's been a very long
time.
What
what has any of these guys really done for me lately?
I know this is the problem with basing everything off of Super Bowls, especially for quarterbacks. Like, there's only one Super Bowl every year, and
I don't.
You look at people, not even in football, but you look across all sports. There's Hall of Fame players who just didn't have the teams around them, and I don't know. I don't want to say that the Packers aren't a good team and aren't good enough to win the Super Bowl, but besides Devontae Adams, and who do the Packers really have? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, because you can't say like Aaron Jones is really in that same cat. I mean, he's good, but he's
not. That's been one of Rodgers' biggest complaint over the past decade, that they haven't done anything for him. Instead of drafting a receiver, they draft Jordan Love, and he doesn't even look like he might be a replacement.
I know everybody's saying this year proves that you need a top 8 quarterback, but I think the exact opposite. I think you need a quarterback that won't lose you games. You need to build around that quarterback. Like, okay, we had Matt Stafford in the Lions for 12 years. Doesn't win a playoff game. You build a team around him. Oh, look, he's in the Super Bowl. Is that just magic, or I don't know?
Well, do we think the Rams were building that team with Matt Stafford in mind, or was Jared Goff that guy at first, and they were like, this isn't working, we need to get someone else?
And I think that just adds to my point that they realized, okay, Jared Goff can't win a Super Bowl. He loses us a Super Bowl. It happened once. They were like, we just need a quarterback who's good enough to not screw it up. That's what I'm saying.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, you go.
I do want to say, not that I don't entirely feel bad for Stafford for having to play for Detroit all those years, but people talk about it like he had nobody ever. Like, he had probably if he plays a full career in the NFL, Calvin Johnson's probably the best wide receiver ever.
Yeah.
He had Ndamukong Suh. He had players, like, they made the playoffs. He just couldn't get over the hump. So like, I don't want to.
But Hub, stop. I'm sorry, but are we turning? I don't want to turn into First Take here or Cold Pizza throwback. But this is the same thing with the Packers. Like, yeah, Aaron Rodgers has Devontae Adams. Matt Stafford had Calvin Johnson, but who else was on that team? And Ndamukong Suh spent half of his career with the Lions, like, stomping on people's necks. If I remember
Getting suspended.
I just am tired of hearing people saying poor Matt Stafford for like he was on 0-16 teams every single year. He just wasn't.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, okay.
He was on teams every single year where it was him and Calvin Johnson, and they were like, okay, here we go. That's why Calvin Johnson retired. So, like,
Okay. Well, let's say that Stafford goes out and loses the Super Bowl, which I personally think is going to happen because I don't think the Rams are that good. But like, what? So where do the Rams go from there? Then they don't have a first rounder for like 5 years. They've literally bet everything on this season. Von Miller, like, really, like they went all in. They did. They for sure did. But what do you do? I mean, what do you do even if you win the Super Bowl? Like, you've already given up so much of your future for Matt Stafford, and now is he the guy that can take you there year after year? I don't know. I don't know if I see it. Like,
I think that if they do win, they are going to probably have one of the worst Super Bowl hangovers ever. And if they lose, they are going to be part of that statistic where the loser in the Super Bowl doesn't make the playoffs the next year. Either way, they've totally rolled the dice for their future to win it this year. So if they win, that's definitely worth it for them. But I think either way, the future does not look too bright.
Yeah, I agree with Hub where, the future isn't that bright, but we don't live in the future. Like,
no, you're right.
We live right now, and in 2 weeks, they're one of 2 teams that can win a Super Bowl. So
yeah,
for now, the bet's paid off.
And kudos to them for actually doing it, because you don't see, like, I mean, the Steelers, for instance, would never leverage their future like that in any situation ever. So, like, for a team to actually go out and actually do it and be like stand by their word, like, it's impressive. And the fact that it happened, so they won the NFC Championship yesterday, exactly 1 year after they traded for Stafford. I love that little stat. Do you think they knew when the NFC Championship was? Like it was like sort of like orchestrated that way? Like,
that's part of the NFL is rigged.
Yeah, I was about to say hashtag NFL is rigged.
Yeah. Well, and then let's not forget the part about, they're playing the game in the Rams stadium.
Yeah.
And I just think it's hilarious that over half of the fans were 49ers fans. I think that was hilarious. And I got to pull up this tweet from Andrew Whitworth. I sent this to Hub earlier. I don't know if you saw this, Jack, but Andrew Whitworth got a little bent out of shape about a tweet that Joe Staley sent. That's who it was. Remember that, Hub?
Yeah. He said that he attacked his wife.
Andrew
That's
Whitworth attacked Joe Staley's wife?
No, other way
Joe
around.
Staley, yeah.
Joe Staley attacked Andrew Whitworth's
not
wife?
physically, not physically, verbally on Twitter. And it couldn't have been. It was a very average troll at best, and you'll see what it is.
It was a classic scenario of responding to a troll when you definitely just shouldn't have. You should just let it go.
Like, exactly.
And of course I can't find it now. I should have pulled it up, but
essentially, Whitworth's wife tweeted, "Any LA Rams fans that want to sell their tickets, I will purchase them from you. Please do not sell them to 49er fans." And Joe Staley replied to the tweet. Yeah, retweeted it, but then changed it around saying he is just mocking her essentially. Like
he said he said the same exact thing, just like at the Rams. Like,
yeah,
it was. I mean, both sides unnecessary. Like, he's a grown man. Like, I get it.
Yeah,
and like any Andrew 49ers fans looking to sell their tickets to Rams fans, I'll buy your tickets or whatever.
Yeah.
Is that the gist?
It was okay. It was on Instagram. It wasn't on Twitter.
Well, the fact that
I was in the wrong spot.
Did you guys notice that they had to run a silent count in the NFC Championship game in their hometown
at home?
At home, because the 49ers fans were so loud. Like, that's crazy.
He deleted it. Of course he did.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that loser.
Jesus.
Well, it's so you do have to kind of mortgage your future when you're an LA team, because no
That's
one
what they
cares.
always do.
Yeah, no one cares in LA. It's a transient city. Like, if you're not winning championships, no one's gonna come to your games. And
Right. Yeah, exactly.
That's why
The
that's why the celebrities show up there. That's how they get people to come to the games.
yeah, and the craziest
Mhm.
part is they're not the LA team that's mortgaged their future the most. Look at the Lakers.
Yeah,
I mean, it's a different sport, but
Yeah,
I think their average age is 35, and they're like 2 games under 500, not going to make the playoffs. So we could say all we want about like how the Rams' future looks, but hey, they rolled
Speaking
the
of
dice.
living,
and
speaking of living in the now,
yeah,
I mean,
they
they
rolled the
went out and
dice
got
and it worked out.
Russell Westbrook, like full well knowing who he was as a player, and
Westbrook.
still, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Westbrook
Thinking-
and Carmelo Anthony, after they're both like over 35, that's gonna play.
That
Two of the most
should work
selfish
out.
basketball players of all time. Let's put them on the court and see what happens.
Yeah.
LeBron's gonna fix them. Don't worry.
Yeah,
LeBron will
Melo
take care
gets
of
a
him.
Sixers fans kicked out of the stadium. Like,
Oh, it was messed up. All
that
he
was
said
messed up.
was, "Yeah, he's got his." I heard him on the Philadelphia Sports Talk Radio.
I did too.
He said, "Make him stay in the corner. He's a little boy." Had no racial connotations, because when you say little boy, definitely not racist whatsoever.
And then,
I'm being sarcastic if the listeners don't get it.
and he like stopped the game, right, and then had the fan kicked out.
At first he acted like he was gonna go into the stands, like he like stormed toward, and then like
You know what this?
It was
You know what this is though? That's a great example of Andrew Whitworth doing the same exact. You don't respond to the trolls. Like you let the trolls troll, because it'll dig at them more if you don't say anything to them. Like if you like, it's all a mind game, and Melo clearly doesn't look that. He should have gotten that being from New York, but
I'm going to disagree, AD, because in this scenario, Melo was down 20 with 6 minutes left, and he responded to this troll who's permanently been banned from Sixers games now. So in this instance, responding to the troll, he got his like moral W, I guess. I don't know.
I don't know.
Good for him.
Yeah. Well, okay, but then when you, I mean, since we're on the topic, when you put that into perspective with LeBron stopping a game because someone said that he wishes his like son was dead or something, like, now that I can understand, but like,
yeah,
the comment that was made to Melo, I don't think really warranted a whole stoppage and everything. It's just,
there's an
That's
overreaction.
That's why I only sit in the nosebleeds, so I can say whatever I want. You know, like I'm up in the in the rafters.
They're like pointing up there, like, yeah, he's up there in 226. Like,
damn, I knew I should have projected. Scurrying away.
Well, yeah. So I mean, overall, a lot happened this week. I mean, we had, first of all, let me go into our back of the week, because I think it's a good segue here. I think who's back, or who never really left. Really, it's kind of not really a back. It's more of a never really leaving situation. But Tom Brady is definitely not going anywhere. So Adam Schefter tweeted, when was that, Tuesday or Wednesday?
I thought it was Saturday.
Was that Saturday?
Yeah.
This week has just been, I mean, even like the week.
It's Monday, AD.
I mean, I agree. It was a long weekend. I don't really remember this happening, but I do remember being really confused at the multiple conflicting reports.
So Tom Brady, Schefter reported that him and Jeff Darlington got the scoop. They were the first ones to report it. Tom Brady retired. It's official. Was it 22 seasons?
Yeah.
22 seasons, 44 years old, 7 rings. Wow. Storied career. Yeah.
Our entire lives.
Half his life. Yeah, he spent half his life in the NFL.
I think a bigger mind-blowing thing is that's literally like the three of it. That's like all of our lives. Like, I don't really remember before Tom Brady. Like, I remember some things as a child, but like Tom Brady has been around my entire life.
No, that's true. Yeah, like from when I remember, like
football.
started to watch football. Yeah.
You guys are fair weather fans because my first Super Bowl was the Steve McNair, Kurt Warner Super Bowl year before he was on the field.
That was my first Super Bowl. That was on my birthday. I remember.
So you guys remember NFL before Tom Brady?
I remember Elway.
He was in the league that year, right?
When was Elway's last year? That was
98.
What? 98. Yeah,
I remember seeing.
Elway's
the end of that. Super Bowl
I think on TV. Tom Brady was drafted that year, but he didn't play until his second year because
we're arguing semantics here.
Semantics matter, Hub. It's 2022, bro.
Essentially, what I'm saying is that Tom Brady is a measuring stick of our lifetime.
It is true, and I definitely got a little sad inside because it's just knowing that he is playing on Sunday, knowing that like whatever team he's on, like has a chance,
right?
And that's hard to say with a lot of quarterbacks. Like you couldn't say the same thing with Steelers and Big Ben. Like, oh, Big Ben's playing quarterback, like we definitely have a chance. Yeah, there's no chance we lose this game. But
well, I thought the funniest part was the fact that I was sitting at home when the reports came out. I was watching college basketball, and they stopped the college basketball game to have Adam Schefter come on saying that Tom Brady's retired.
Oh wow!
Then it wasn't even Tom Brady who disputed it. It was his dad. It was Tom Brady Sr.
Tom Brady Sr.
My son, yeah. But could you imagine? What if he was just a salty dad who was just like, if I haven't heard about it, it's not true. Like he's just like, Tom didn't tell me. Like, then it's not real. It's not happening. Like the first person Tom would tell would be his old papa. Like I was throwing the ball with him in his backyard. All of his success is due to me. So can't be real if I haven't heard of it. So
that's why he still calls him Tommy. So Tommy hasn't made a decision yet, one way or another. Yeah. Anyone who says that is a liar.
I love the TB12. So his company, the tweet, post, and then delete
immediately,
and it was like, that was great. It was like our leader at Tom Brady, and Tom Price saw was like, delete that shit right now. Like
he's probably so mad right now.
I would not be surprised. I feel like Tom just like he wants, like the scene of like the Joker like walking out of the hospital and he's like pressing the button like bombing it, and that's gonna be Tom like leaving the NFL. Like he's gonna destroy Schefter on his way out. He's gonna make sure he's no longer the insider. He wants Ian Rappaport to be the insider. That's his guy.
Rap sheet.
He's just gonna blow the whole place up on the way out. But let's be honest, he's not retiring. We're in that camp, right? He's not retiring.
Do you think Tom Brady has all the emails from the Washington football team investigation?
That too. Yes.
He's that's gonna be his retirement statement.
He was
all those emails to the public.
Write a book about it. Yeah.
Yeah. And at the end of the book, after he's destroyed everyone's career, be like, by the way, I'm retiring as well. The end.
That's how he drops it.
By the way, I
think he might have been retiring until this happened.
And now he doesn't. Now he doesn't want to.
Yeah.
I could see that, and I think the big indicator to me is that Josh McDaniels and Dave, whatever his name is, hired as the GM in Vegas. And if you think about it, Vegas is kind of set up with they've got a bunch of like first rounders on their team, like on offense and defense, like good players, like high draft picks. Yeah. I could totally see him in that offense in the black and silver. I mean, just like
that'd be sick.
I feel like the Raiders are like one of like the most hated teams like of all time. Like
the black
probably closely by the Steelers too. And I think I could just see him just being the villain next year,
becoming like Darth Vader,
leaving Tampa Bay, going to Vegas. Isn't the Super Bowl in Vegas next year?
No, it's in Arizona. The Hall of Fame
2 years is in Vegas, probably.
Yeah.
So, I think Tom's playing until he's 50. Like, I think that's the number in his head. That's the number in his head because he wants.
Yeah.
All these other quarterbacks before him, the number was 40. Like the number was like get to 40. Like Elway tried to get to 40. I don't think he did it. Peyton didn't get to 40. I don't think, or maybe he did his last year, but. That was the number, and Tom's just gonna like raise the bar. He just wants to be the best, and clearly,
he's 44, and he had his best statistical year of all time. Right?
Of all
He
time,
threw for the most yards. Yeah.
Just another reason. Just another reason. Like, why would the hell would he retire?
AD, I gotta ask you your reaction as a Steelers fan and someone who has a Ben Roethlisberger tattoo on their body. What did you think about Brady? Yeah, what do you think about Brady's tweet about how Ben Roethlisberger did it by putting
more
ice
ways
on it? Yeah.
More ways to bake a cake or whatever.
Yeah, I want to hear your reaction. We didn't get to talk about this.
I think it's Tom's way of saying, like, congrats on a career, but you still sucked. It's clearly like an underhanded like compliment. Like, just like, it's not like
you're a fat slob.
Yeah. Like,
were you offended, AD?
No, not by any means. I love Tom, so I don't care what Tom does. Tom could kiss his son. Oh wait, he already does. But no, it did not bother me at all, because it's funny. I don't know. Like, Ben had success in the first 5 years of his career, and then just kind of like let himself go anyway, and just collect his paycheck.
Yeah,
like it's like
he's still good, but
it's kind of indicative of what I mean, good for him and his family. He got paid. Maybe he'll be a part owner of the Steelers with all the money he made. I don't know. But
do you think the Steelers could have won that Super Bowl with Tommy Maddox, the first one that Ben won? What, he was your quarterback.
Yeah. But, I mean, if you look at his stats in that game, it's hilarious. Both Super Bowls, hilarious. Like, I don't think he may have had one touchdown between the two Super Bowls.
Well, there was the one
with
Santonio Holmes.
Yeah, I think that was the only one. I think that was the only one.
Did Hines Ward run a kickoff back?
No, it was the 92-yard or 99-yard interception return by
Here's
James
a fun
Pearson.
Steelers fact for you, AD. Antoine Randall has the same amount of touchdown passes in the Super Bowl as Ben Roethlisberger.
Yep.
There you go.
Great NFL street player.
Versatile
very,
player.
Very.
Yeah.
If you know what
EA
you're doing,
Sports
you can play
sponsor
with
us. Yeah.
Well, here's speaking of NFL Street, what else is back is Andy Reid choking in the playoffs.
Oh my God.
You guys as Eagles fans know that very well. Me, I mean, guys, I was an Eagles fan growing up. I still have
Shady McCoy jersey.
I still have some, green in my heart. You know what I mean? And I just remember being so disappointed so many years in a row by Don McNabb. We talked about it last week too with First Down Freddy. That was probably the highest high the Eagles had for a long time.
He actually trolled Donovan yesterday after the
Freddie
Chiefs
did?
lost. In a he like made a post about Andy Reid, like kind of propping up Andy Reid, saying like how great of a coach he is, just like kind of supporting him. But
before they lost,
in the post
when they were up 21-3.
Yeah. Right. In the post, he trolls Donovan McNabb. Like, he still can't let it go that they hate each other.
Yeah.
He said something along the lines of, could you imagine how many Super Bowls Andy would have won with the Eagles if he had someone like Mahomes instead of McNabb?
Oh my!
That's
just direct. Yeah.
And
is that Twitter?
Right when he tweeted that, they started blowing the lead, and Mahomes started joking.
Donovan McNabb probably tweeted back at him.
I just don't understand. How can you be in the league that long and still not learn time management? Like, all three of us can agree that that game turned on the end of the first half when they didn't get any points, right? Like, that was the rallying cry for the Bengals. He's been an NFL coach for 25 years, and he still doesn't know how to save his timeouts. He still doesn't know how to run a 2-minute drill. Like, he's one of the greatest NFL coaches of all time, and he can't manage the clock. I don't get it.
Did you find it? Yeah.
Freddie Mitchell said, we should have won 5 Super Bowls in Andy Reid's offense. And like three sad emojis.
I mean, that would have,
That's a pretty great
a lot of tears. That's
for sure. For real.
Yeah, with a generational talent like Freddie Mitchell, I don't know how we didn't get at least one. He's so good. It's Fred X.
Well, he just likes to talk shit. The tweet before that was 3 days prior, and he said, "Oh, this is about freaking LeBron." He said, "All I'm saying is Michael Jordan would have played. Period."
Oh, he was
Oh,
mad.
was it?
You know why he was mad? He bought
He was
tickets
at
to
that
that game.
game.
Yeah. He
Was
bought
he?
tickets to that game.
He probably had
He was
courtside
at that
seats. He
game.
probably just
I
spent
was at
much
that
money.
game, and they showed him on the jumbotron, and he looked.
Was he
pissed off.
courtside? Was he courtside?
What? I don't think he's got courtside money. He's got like 6 rows back money.
I looked at tickets for Christmas for that game, and they were outrageous. Like lower level was like $5,000 to sit like within the first 5 rows. Maybe even
I can tell you from firsthand knowledge. Before LeBron announced he was out, tickets were going around like 100, 150. After LeBron said he wasn't going out, I was able to score tickets for like $25. So
like up
That's
top.
amazing.
yeah,
That's
Yeah,
amazing. Yeah, that's amazing.
But around Christmas time, they were, which I'm sure a lot of people bought those tickets for Christmas presents.
Yeah.
They were
Yeah.
outrageous. Like
That
Imagine
was
being a
pretty-
little
courtside
kid.
was over $10,000.
That's exactly what like Stephen A. talks about, right? Like, imagine
Yeah.
being that little kid going to the stadium.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why that's what he was complaining about during the Kobe tribute. I mean, maybe you should have picked a better time to do it.
Yeah,
But-
right. Yeah.
But it's
you got to pick your battles at that point there, Stephen.
Well, did you see the Lakers are such a classy franchise that on the 2-year anniversary of Kobe dying, they were 24-24 and the 8th seed in the West. So that
Mhm.
was just an amazing tribute, like sacrificing half of your season to tribute to Kobe Bryant.
that's the
That-
yeah.
simulation.
Yeah, that's legendary by them. Hashtag
That's
NBA's
it.
rigged.
I was about to say that. Yeah, I'm like, wait a second. Is this further evidence that? Gosh,
The NBA is probably one of the easier things to rig because the regular season is meaningless for the most part.
well, because top 8 get in right on each side.
Yeah.
So like, LeBron is doing exactly what he knows, and that's why he's resting when he wants to. He doesn't
Exactly.
give a shit. He doesn't care. I bet you he rested that game against the Sixers because he knew they were outmatched. It was like an already an L in his mind. So he's looking at the schedule. He's literally playing chess, just like like well, we can win this game. Oh, we'll only be 2 games back. If we win this game, and he's just going down the whole season.
He calls
got
them
it
scheduled losses.
Figured out.
Yeah,
exactly.
Did they create the playing game so LeBron could sit out more so he could be the 10 seed and still make it in? You know what I'm saying?
Guys, this is big brain shit right here.
Adam Silver is not going to like this when he sees this podcast on YouTube.
Yeah.
I'll tell Adam not to watch. He's a member of our former fraternity, so
We'll have the
Proud to be.
NBA like
They're
PR
gonna
team contacting us to take it down. They'll be like, guys, we can't have them figure this out. Like, take it down. Come on.
Well, I want to. I don't want
No,
to
go ahead.
hijack, but
No.
I want to bring back. I want to put forward. Bring back part 2 or the back segment.
Yeah.
Part 2.
No. I know where you're going with it. Go ahead.
We're talking about all these Hall of Famers: Tom Brady, Kobe Bryant, and
Is
one of
Big
the
Ben
greatest,
a Hall of Famer?
Yeah, if you can look past like him being the second best ogre of all time behind Shrek, but
Yeah.
like that was
Fair.
a low blow. Sorry, Shrek. But no, we're talking about. I love the arguments made where like Kobe Bryant was such a good player that he had 2 Hall of Fame careers when he was the number 8 and he was the number 24, and now with Tom Brady retiring, people have done the same things. Like, you can make like 3 Hall of Fame careers out of Tom Brady's career. Like you split it up into 8-year segments.
Right.
There's someone else that has been in the news recently that you could split his career into 2 Hall of Fame careers. And obviously I'm talking about Barry Bonds. I want what is back. It was on the front page of the ESPN website today.
Here, let me share it here.
Oh, you go pull it up. Philly connection. Kid who went to Penn was the leadoff hitter for the Phillies for a 2-3 year span when they were winning like 50 games a year. It was great. You always love when your leadoff hitter bats like 246. Yeah.
Oh yeah, of course.
There it is. It's Doug Glanville. and he says and what is back is the hypocrisy BS of steroids not letting any players into the Hall of Fame, except David Ortiz was on the same steroid list as Barry Bonds, but whatever.
I mean, he has an Ivy League education, so you have to
You have to take his
trust
word for it.
everything
You
he
have-
says. Yes,
No matter what, it's true. Whatever he
matter.
says.
Yeah.
But that's what I don't understand about this argument. Like I was saying about splitting the careers into two. Everybody knows when Barry Bonds started using steroids. It's when his head ballooned like 8 times in size. Like we all know that.
Caillou.
And so that happened. I did the numbers. That happened in 2001. He was still a Hall of Famer before 2001. He still had 500 home
Easily.
runs.
When he played for the Pirates, he was good.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
I
what
mean,
I don't understand. Why can't they just like say, okay, everything that happened after Barry Bonds' head ballooned to like 10 times its size, like the freaking Grinch, doesn't count, but we're still going to put Barry Bonds in the Hall of Fame.
Somebody tried to make the argument that steroids, there are certain steroids that he took that actually do improve your eyesight, which just is just not even
That's
remotely true.
just
Like,
the conspiracy theories just coming out are just
like,
amazing.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like
I'm sorry. No. I think the worst part about all of this is that the only reason we are talking about Doug Glanville in 2022 is because he's okay with Barry Bonds not in the Hall of Fame. So,
Thank you, Doug.
let's remind ourselves of that. Like, I mean, maybe you hear more of his voice in the Philly area, but I haven't heard Doug Glanville's name in years. I barely could remember who he was at first.
He is occasionally on MLB Network, and that's only in the playoffs. Like other than that, I have not seen or heard from him since he was on the Phillies when I was a 5-year-old.
Yes, yeah.
Doug Glanville went to Penn, local kid, like was on the Phillies for a little bit. And until he wrote this article about Barry Bonds, I had no idea that he was in the Hall of Fame. Well, his thesis was in the Hall of Fame.
His thesis,
my God, yes.
Yeah, his thesis that he brings up. Anyone who's watching, don't read this stupid freaking article. Here's the gist. Doug Glanville didn't take steroids, one. Doug Glanville was actually drafted before Manny Ramirez. And because Manny Ramirez took steroids, we'll never know on a level playing field who's better, Doug Glanville or Manny Ramirez. And 3, Doug Glanville wrote a paper that's in the Hall of Fame, and his name's on it. So next time you're in Canton, Cooperstown, look for Doug Glanville's paper. That's what matters. Doug Glanville's paper. Shut the heck up, Doug Glanville. No one cares what your noodle ass has to say about anything. Just because you went to an Ivy League, the average Ivy League. This is another article. We're getting out of sports now. The average student at Wharton thinks that the average American makes over 6 figures. So, like, maybe Ivy League schools aren't that smart. Maybe they're just rich kids. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Oh, and the best part about it, and you nailed it right on the head, Jack, that Doug Glanville wrote this article to talk about himself. Like, he was talking about himself, like watching Barry Bonds, like back in 1997, and like, it's like, all right, dude, we get it. You played baseball. Like, you don't need to remind us again. Like, you played. Like you don't need to shove it down our throats.
Your insecurities are shining through right now.
Through the entire article.
He spends a whole few paragraphs saying like, oh, he had like downtime in the MLB because his dad was in the hospital, and then like he was thinking about taking steroids, but he did the right thing by not taking steroids, and he doesn't care if that cut his MLB career short. He's
like the one guy that didn't do steroids in the late 90s, and like now he the only reason he has a job at ESPN because he like that was his pitch. Like, I didn't do steroids whenever everyone else was. Like, I'm that guy. Like,
yeah, he's like a scab that like breaks the picket line for a
like a not as big of a snitch as what's his name that just threw everyone under the bus with him.
Jose Canseco.
Yeah, Canseco. Yeah, but
yeah, he's another one.
At least he took steroids, though. I mean, Glanville.
He couldn't lie about that. That was abundantly clear.
Yeah,
he looks like a steroid.
He was the definition of roid rage, actually.
Yes.
Like,
yeah. I'm pretty sure Kenny Powers his like rage is based off of Jose Canseco's rage.
But it's just so funny that we can all look back at, well, not us because we don't care about steroids. Like I don't want to put words in your guys' mouths, but I
don't
think
give
they
a
should
shit about steroids.
Yeah, they should
It made
legalize
baseball
steroids.
better.
Exactly. It saved baseball. After the strike, no one cared about baseball, and then Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa started smashing the ball, and everyone couldn't look away. Without steroids,
there's a documentary literally about how that home run race saved baseball. So,
without steroids, baseball doesn't exist. And now, without baseball existing, the baseball writers don't have jobs. And now the baseball writers won't vote in the steroids guys because steroids is cheating when their jobs are because of those steroid guys.
What's so stupid, though, is that both Clemens and Bonds are I don't know about Clemens because I think other former players like really, really hate him. But there's another way to get into the Hall of Fame. It's like your peers vote you in. Barry Bonds is probably going to get in next year. And why go through, like, you're clearly not voting for him out of spite. And that's going to be, it's just like, why would you waste 10 years of that? Like, he's going to get in. Like, maybe don't put him in first year.
Just to be proud and say,
yeah. It's like the T.O. thing. Like, T.O. was a clear first year, like unanimous like T.O. was one of the best wide receivers ever. And he just didn't get in the first year just because people didn't like him. That shouldn't be allowed.
No. There's a bias when it comes to voting for some voters.
It's ridiculous.
Why are baseball writers in charge of that? Like nerds who've never played the sport? Like
because they're all like 80 years old and like they still hold on to like the old days when
so do you think they get
in the stands.
It's America's pastime. It's America's pastime.
Yeah.
Do you think they get off on the fact that the best hit, like the player with the most hits of all time, player with the most home runs of all time, the player with the most Cy Young awards aren't in the Hall of Fame? Like, what is a power trip or something?
Yeah.
In the case of Pete Rose, I think he would be in if the commissioner would let him in. I think they would vote him in. But I do think it is a power trip regardless. I think that they know that they have like that, even like the guy that came out like, I'm not voting for Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah,
like
that
why?
idiot.
Why?
Yeah.
Like who? Okay, don't vote for him. But why do you have to announce that? Like it's a power trip thing. Clearly.
Did I ever tell you guys my my Barry Bonds story? I met Barry Bonds in Pittsburgh.
No,
What?
let's hear it.
Yeah, came out here to see this. I think this is probably actually the first time I was ever in Pittsburgh, and came out here to see the Giants play. Obviously, play the Pirates, and we stayed in the same hotel as the Giants did down at the Westin, down at the near the point there, and we were like, me and my friend were just like waiting by the elevator, just hoping to see anyone, and like had a baseball and a pen in our hand, and like we saw this like black Mercedes roll up and pull up in the back, and then like he came in like the back entrance to the elevators, and we were just like white as ghosts, just like we like just saw like a. I mean, he was like just like seeing the earring, the little cross.
It doesn't look real. It's like
that shit is just like it was so surreal.
Yeah,
we asked him for his autograph. He was so nice, like gave it to us, and handed us a bag of. And I know this now that I live in Pittsburgh, like Giant Eagle cookies, like a bag of cookies, and I took the cookies home with me and like didn't eat them, like saved them like for no reason, like just like these like rotting cookies sitting on top of our fridge for a long time.
I thought you were gonna say like a bag of HGH or something, and he was like,
yeah, maybe it was. I never really looked at them that much. I don't know.
Those are probably those protein cookies.
Yeah, I was gonna say protein cookies. Yeah,
and that's why you didn't play for the Pirates, AD. Come on.
If you still had those, you could have turned them into an NFT. And then who knows?
Those were my intentions back in the day. To, I'm gonna hang on to these because everyone would believe me, right? That this bag of cookies came from Barry Bonds. Right? There's no way.
Did he sign the bag?
No.
That would have been sick.
Yeah, I mean, maybe they would have been worth something then. I don't know, but yeah, that was my fun Barry Bonds story. So it's I don't think the baseball is probably worth much because he's not in the Hall of Fame, right? So
yeah, definitely not a good baseball player.
Pretty ridiculous.
Since he sucked at baseball,
he was so bad that I went to a game against the Giants where he hit 2 home runs, a grand slam, and a 3-run home run, and I got intentionally walked the other 4 times he batted. So
There were multiple seasons where Barry Bonds was intentionally walked more than games he played. Like the year he hit 72 home runs, his on base percentage was .584. Like this isn't like a beer league. This isn't like a softball beer league. It's the MLB.
Yeah.
They were walking him with the bases loaded. That year he got walked with the bases loaded 3 times. That's crazy.
Intentionally walked over 650 times in his career. The next closest person is in the 300s.
Who's that? Like Albert Pujols or something?
Probably, yeah. So
yeah. Jesus, that's amazing. Or it's probably Mark McGwire, actually.
See, the craziest part is like David Ortiz gets in on his first year on the ballot.
Because he's likable.
Yeah, but he was the same generation of steroid users. He was using steroids too. So
he definitely used steroids for sure.
That's like a further just indictment on how it's a popularity contest.
When's Doug Glanville's article going to come out that says why I'm not okay with David Ortiz making the Hall of Fame? Like, come on. It's just
they work together on MLB Network.
And he knows that he would beat his ass if he wrote anything
or
like
that too. Yeah.
It's one of the two, easily one of the two. Well, I think this is a good transition because obviously we're very disappointed that Barry Bonds didn't get in the Hall of Fame. It's ridiculous. He's the greatest player, ever, and it's a shame. It's a shame he's getting jobbed like that. But I think let's move on to the ugly of the week because obviously I think it doesn't get much uglier than Schefter tweeting out a fake retirement. So that, I mean, we kind of beat that like a dead horse. It's like, what more can you say he guy?
Yeah,
like,
he's getting roasted on all social media platforms. So his fingers
were so ready to send that tweet. Like he must have been like drooling whenever he first got word of that. Like I can just picture it. But I think the real ugly of the week is like when teams lose, like the 49ers, and the Chiefs, like there's always a player. I don't know. I guess maybe there wasn't really as much in the Chiefs case, but there's always a blame, like a person to blame. Like the 49ers blamed Jimmy G, the entire fan base and the entire, some people on the team blamed him, but who was to blame for the Chiefs' loss though?
I've been hearing a lot of Mahomes, a lot of Andy Reid, like the combination between Mahomes and Reid.
I mean, it's true. They have 3 points in the second half.
Yeah, Patrick was just trying to do too much.
3 points. Yeah,
he was just trying to do too much.
And no one even wants to talk about this. The 49ers had the 3rd pick of the draft last year, and they took a quarterback,
and they picked
who didn't play,
who played one game all season. I think he had to play one game.
Yeah.
And I'm
came
just
in for a couple plays and a few other games, but other than that, barely played.
What the Bengals took Jamar Chase 6th overall, and I know he didn't have a big game yesterday, but he catapulted them.
He's a monster.
So instead of blaming Jimmy G, why aren't we blaming John Lynch or Kyle Shanahan for taking a quarterback with the 3rd pick? They could have taken a star wide receiver
when they had the team. They had the team. They had the team.
Yeah,
and this goes back to sort of leveraging your future, sort of like, I mean, the Rams are the opposite, right? So they don't have any picks and they put it all in this year. The 49ers are kind of the opposite side of that spectrum. Like they're in like the win later mode. Like everyone knew before the season, whenever they drafted Lance, that Jimmy G, this was his last year. It didn't matter what he did this year. Like the fact that he got them to the NFC Championship is incredible. Like
and they should have won that game. Like they should have won. Like he should be going to his second Super Bowl as a starting quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
That's the problem with the win later model. Like everybody always forgets this. Like it's nice to have a great future, but people only care about the present.
Yeah.
And look, the Rams gambled on everything to win now, and they won now. The 49ers have a great future, and it looks great later down the road.
Maybe, though. Maybe. We don't know anything about Trey Lance.
We don't know about Trey Lance. But they were in that game. And they
were
lost
in that game.
Because you can't tell me if they didn't try and win now, like it could have been different. You know what I mean?
Well, let's be honest. It wasn't Jimmy G that lost in that game. It was I forget his first name, but it was Tart on the 49ers. He dropped that interception. Like he looked so stupid. Like he was like looking at it and like it was like he couldn't believe that the ball was just like right there in his hands. Like,
I don't think he's definitely.
He didn't know what to do.
He probably hasn't left bed today. Like I pray for that guy.
And they kept showing it on the broadcast too.
Yeah.
It's just like it was so painful. I felt bad for him, but you got to make a play if you want to go to the Super Bowl. You got to make the plays, and those are the plays you need to make.
Exactly.
Let me see. Oh, here I got a clip of it here. This was. I mean, how could you not find a clip of it? I'm not going to play sound.
It's like watching money fall through his hands. Thank you.
It's absolutely sickening, and then but people will still, because what they see is Jimmy G throwing the interception to end the game, but what 49ers fans refuse to believe and see is this. Like this was the game right here. I don't even remember. It was like 6 minutes left. Oh my goodness! Oh. He let it hit his shoulder pads. That was his issue. Look at that. Nope.
Also, his hands are closed before the ball even comes in.
Like that's the definition of gator arming.
There might have been a better angle. Look, and then he like started to look down. He was ready to run with it.
Yeah,
because he definitely had some space in front of him too. He probably could have gone.
I love that troll sources tell me that the New York Jets are interested in signing Whiskey Tart.
Old Max Hall got some laughs at that one. Oh man, but that's who fans need to blame. Like you can't look at the way Jimmy G played that game. He put them in a position to win. It wasn't. They weren't able to execute it. I mean, the Rams defense is good.
Or can we blame Kyle Shanahan for once again blowing a huge fourth quarter lead in a big game?
10-point lead, right?
Yeah. First, he's the offensive coordinator for the Falcons, 28-3. Sorry, Atlanta, not to bring that up. Ricochet. Then you have the Super Bowl. They were up 11 against Kansas City going into the fourth quarter. Head coach. Now you have this game up 10 going into the fourth quarter into the NFC Championship.
Those last two drives by the 49ers were
pathetic.
Atrocious.
They were pathetic.
Atrocious.
They were throwing screens 5 yards into the backfield on third down and long. Like
exactly. How are you going to blame Jimmy G for that play calling? Like the one play was a screen that had no chance. The other play was like he had no time, and the third play, Aaron Donald was just like in his lap.
And
he was trying to save time because if you get sacked on 3rd and 13, it's 4th
you can't
and
get
20.
sacked. Well,
yeah.
Well, let's back it up. I'm glad you brought that up because he could have called timeout. He could have saved before the 2-minute warning. He could have saved like
36 seconds.
Yeah. And he chose to run it down to the 2-minute warning and ended up having to use all his timeouts anyway. So it's just like I guess they had one left at the end of the game. Not that it mattered, but
it didn't matter though because they had 6 straight plays where I don't even think they gained a positive yard. Like 2 straight 3-and-outs.
Yeah, it
was 2 straight 3-and-outs. Yeah.
I can't believe we've gotten an hour into the show. Like we've had such lively conversation without talking about the two like brainiac, like young gun coaches trying to out-stupid each other. Like the Kyle Shanahan with the time management that completely distracts from the challenges from Sean McVay.
Well,
the one was
Sean McVay's
fourth and inches,
arguably worse.
Yeah, the 4th and inches that obviously wasn't even close, and the
4th and inches that they would never change that ever on the 4th and inches,
unless it was the Cowboys in that one game where they did change it because
they move it up.
Other than that, if Jerry Jones isn't involved,
yeah, exactly. Sorry, I just gotta get my Cowboys shot in.
No, that's true, but the Cowboys still didn't get the first down because of that, though, right? It was still short.
The 49ers got the first down, which would have ended the game, and then Jerry Jones called
it back.
and they moved the ball back 9 inches, so the ball was 1 inch short.
That's right. I thought it was the other way.
And then they called a false start when no one moved, so it would be 4th and 6, so they'd have to punt.
Do you think Shanahan, aren't they boys? Like, do you think Shanahan and him just had a conversation at halftime, or he's like, "Yo, can you please bail me out here? Like, I'm having a horrible game.
I look stupid. Can you look dumber?
Yeah. Or maybe after the third when he realized he had no timeouts going into the fourth quarter, which
Well, it's
is
a race to the
insane.
bottom. You're right. There's something to that. They probably met up before the game and they're like, yo, like they're going to think we're the two smartest coaches no matter what. Let's see who can look the most dumb in this
And
crucial situation.
Yeah,
Still come out on top. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the new smart man's bet. I'm going to look as dumb as possible and still succeed.
They were both on the Washington football
with
the coaching
LaFleur.
staff, right?
Yeah, the three of them in 2013,
which is just insane.
Yeah,
like, jeez.
But the McVay that ran into the end zone in that game that was also against the 49ers, right?
Yeah, that was the last game of the season.
Yeah. That was the same McVay that was coaching.
But the 49ers needed to win that game in order to get into the playoffs. So that was also crazy.
That was insane.
And the Rams had to win that game to win the division until the Cardinals choked it. So it was good. Football's a
great season.
Cool sport. I like football. It's all right.
I'm gonna miss it.
Yeah, we're just gonna be really sad when there's nothing to talk about.
Yeah,
really. But hey, we have another week to talk about it, so that's good. So we're not gonna give our picks this week. I think we're gonna hold off. Let you guys think about what we're going to take another week. Maybe we alluded to it a little bit, some of us.
But Jack and I are have a showdown in the Super Bowl.
For the $10,000 for Manscaped on the line.
$10,000.
The Manscaped 4.0, the lawnmower.
Hub's got Cincy and Jack's got the Rams. Man, if you would have said those were the teams, like when we were first doing that, there's no chance. Like, Cincy was definitely one of the last picks. I know the Rams were pretty high up there, but
I heard a guy on the radio saying that, like, this was right when the playoffs started. He took the Niners Bengals Super Bowl, and remember how the Eagles Steelers was like plus 80,000. The Niners Bengals was like very, very close to being the same thing.
Wow.
So
but he didn't get it though. He didn't.
No. He's probably
a
lot more depressed than I am.
Speaking of ridiculous parlays, how about that asshole that put like a $20
guess the score right,
and won like almost $600,000. Like
that's rigged.
This isn't real life. Like sometimes
Roger Goodell's nephew.
Yeah,
good Photoshop skills.
And sometimes I think like it's really just a promotion for the sports book.
It is
to say like, oh, like look, you guys can win these stupid freaking games like that. Like no one ever does that. Like I'm gonna
parlays. Like
there's no like I'm gonna parlay both correct scores. Like get out of here
for $20, like maybe $1. Like
and it was like a bonus. Like it was like a bonus.
That's what you wasted your bonus on. Like you're a liar.
Just
that's probably a FanDuel employee. Who put that in for promotional purpose?
After the fact? Yeah. All right, though. I'm gonna. I texted Frank. He didn't respond with a Frank fact this week, so we will skip the Frank fact this week unless you guys have some fun facts to bring to the table here.
Nadal is the all-time winningest tennis player in major history with 21. Shout out Nadal.
Who was it before?
It was a three-way tie with Djokovic, Federer, and Nadal. They were all at 20.
So this can still be broken, though. This can still be, yeah. This is still a live record here.
But he'll probably retire on top. I
see him if he never gets vaccinated, how's he ever going to play in a tournament ever again? Who knows?
True. All right. Well, and just to update from last week, not that anyone really cares. It looked like we were pretty split. Actually, I think Jack only had one game right. It was the under in the second game.
I know I took the Niners to cover, but did I take the over?
No, you took the under in both games, so you were right there.
Wow.
You had the Chiefs though. I was the only one with the Bengals, but I had the over in both games. I had Bengals and 49ers, but then both got both totals wrong. So yeah, pretty brutal. Did we lose Jack here?
I'm not sure. He might have. I don't know what just happened. Gone like the football season.
Yeah, he's back.
Yeah, my back. Sorry, the
Yeah,
computer was unplugged.
You're good. You're good. I think I don't know about you guys, but I think that pretty much covers it. Is there anything else that I'm missing here, guys?
Nah, I
Oh,
think we
oh
got
boy.
a big Super Bowl pack show next week.
Big game episode next week
A
for
big
sure.
game.
Just a friendly reminder, just to water your plants out there. Make sure they're getting the love and care that they need, especially in the winter. It's important.
I took your advice this past week and did
Good.
that finally and trimmed off
Yeah.
the dead leaves. So
Well, there you go.
it looks a lot better.
And I'm sure it's very happy, and it thanks you for that. Do you guys have anything for the road, though? Jack, you got anything for road?
No.
No? Okay, very easy. Hub, you got anything for the road? Right, I think you're muted. No.
Okay.
Yeah, anything for the road? No?
No gain.
No? Okay. Well, let me just try to figure out how do I usually end it?
Ahoy.
Ahoy, that's right.
Ahoy.
Ahoy.